Hi, my name is Jonathan and I'm an ATPL integrated cadet at BAA training in Vilnius, Lithuania. Today I'm going to tell you why I decided to become a pilot in the first place, how my journey so far has been, and why I decided to start training during the biggest pandemic of the century. Let me answer that last one right away, because the truth is I didn't. I signed my training contract mid-February, and back then COVID-19 was only something that you heard of in the news in Europe. I did really think long and hard of different scenarios and whether I wanted to do it, but I have to be honest, a worldwide pandemic wasn't among the scenarios I considered. But my journey started way before that. I've always been fascinated by flying and loved being a passenger as a kid. And I was fortunate enough to travel the world from a very early age on with my parents and my brother. So, of course, my favorite part of the year was the summer holidays, especially if we got to fly somewhere. From around the age of 8 or so, I also started flying on flight simulators. First, using only keyboard and mouse, and a very long list of keyboard commands I had written myself, until my parents caved and bought me my first joystick. And yes, the footage that you are watching today is actually real footage of me flying back in the day. It's the oldest footage I could find. I even still have some of the printouts from my old flight plans from back in the day. And I kept buying more and more complex add-ons, learning procedures for all different aircraft types, Airbus, Boeing, McDonnell Douglas, the Dash. And to this day I have flown literally thousands of hours all over the world in different simulators. I also went to fly on training simulators whenever I had the chance. My first time when I was around 13 or so got me hooked even more. So every city I'd visit, I'd check if there was a simulator, and if there was, I'd usually convince whoever I was with to go there at least for a little bit. I still remember landing in Paro or in Innsbruck, or during a storm, trying my best to apply the knowledge I'd learned from flying on the simulator at home. And it really worked incredibly well. I felt right at home. So when I was nearing the end of my school career, and after having written my final school paper on the differences between Airbus and Boeing, of course, I really started to think about whether I wanted to become a pilot. Now, the dream at that point had been with me for quite a while, but it seemed so unlikely to happen that I was even scared of telling people about it. But after thinking long and hard, I really decided that that was what I wanted to do, and I had to try everything possible to make that dream a reality. I first applied to our national carrier and got through the first stages of the assessment, but ultimately didn't pass. So I looked at other options. I studied aviation at the University of Applied Sciences FH Joanneum in Graz, and it gave me a nice insight into the engineering side. I also had the chance of doing my radio operator's certificate, and I had fun in my year there for sure, especially whenever lectures had a direct connection to flying, but I ultimately decided that I didn't want to become an engineer. So I kept looking for flight schools, specifically larger ones that had cooperations or even cadet programs with airlines, since I didn't really want to finance the training all on my own without a job waiting at the finishing line. And that's how I found BAA training. I passed the first part of the assessment online from home and then flew to Vilnius to do the rest. And I passed. I got invited to the LOT Polish Airlines cadet interview a couple of months later in Warsaw and got accepted into their program. And that's how I ended up here. I've completed the first few months of ground school already, and even though the situation was tough with quarantine and even lockdowns, I've really enjoyed myself so far. Sure, preparing for exams and studying in general can be tiring, but I've even enjoyed that. But I have to be honest too, I do believe that the aviation industry will recover in the coming years. Otherwise, I'd have to worry about future job prospects, and quite frankly, that's not what I want to do right now. I want to enjoy training as much as I can, and I really look forward to going flying in Spain in summer already. And that was my story up until this point. And I'll continue making videos so you can see what happens in the future. I hope you enjoyed. As always, if you have any questions or feedback, just leave a comment down below. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.